Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're following up with our exciting story about David and Goliath. So let's jump right back in. David said to Saul, "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him." Saul replied, "You were not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him. You're only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth." But David said to Saul, "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off the sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair and struck it and killed it. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because he has defied the armies of the living God. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." Saul said, "David, go, and the Lord be with you." Then Saul dressed David in his own tunic. He put a coat of armor on him and a bronze helmet on his head. David fastened on his sword over the tunic and tried walking around, because he was not used to them. "I cannot go in these," he said to Saul, "because I'm not used to them." So he took them off. Then he took his staff in his hand, chose 5 smooth stones from the stream, put them in the pouch of his shepherd's bag, and with his sling in his hand, approached the Philistine. Meanwhile, the Philistine Sodith, with his shoed bear in front of him, kept coming closer to David. He looked David over and saw that he was little more than a boy, glowing with health and handsome, and he despised him. He said to David, "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. "Come here," he said, "and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." David said to the Philistine, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I'll strike you down and cut off your head. This very day I will give the carcasses of the Philistine army to the birds and the wild animals, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands." As the Philistine moved closer to attack him, David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet him. Reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, he slung it and struck the Philistine on the forehead, the stone sucking to his forehead, and he fell face down on the ground. So David triumphed over the Philistine with the sling and the stone. Without a sword in his hand, he struck down the Philistine and killed him. David ran and stood over him. He took hold of the Philistine's sword and drew it from the sheath. After he killed him, he cut off his head with the sword. When the Philistines saw that their hero was dead, they turned and ran. Then the men of Israel and Judah surged forward with a shout and pursued the Philistines to the entrance of Gath and to the gates of Ekron. Their dead were strewn along the Shaaraim road to Gath and Ekron. When Israelites returned from chasing the Philistines, they plundered their camp. David took the Philistine's head and brought it to Jerusalem. He put the Philistine's weapons in his own tent. As Saul watched David going out to meet the Philistine, he said to Abner, commander of the army, "Abner, whose son is that young man?" Abner replied, "As surely as you live, your majesty, I don't know." The king said, "Find out whose son this young man is." As soon as David returned from killing the Philistine, Abner took him and brought him before Saul, with David still holding the Philistine's head. "Whose son are you, young man?" Saul asked him. David said, "I am the son of your servant Jesse of Bethlehem." Wow, what a powerful message. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed it as much as I did.
Well, you know what time it is. Stick around, everybody. Another Bible breakdown coming for the second half of this exciting story of David and Goliath. Dan and Ayan are coming to break it down for you once again. I just want to say thanks for joining me. Please come back again and have a blessed day.
Welcome back. We're jumping right into a story everyone thinks they know. David versus Goliath. We're going deep, looking at the strategy, the psychology, starting right when David actually says, "I'll fight him."
Yeah, and the first reaction he gets, it's pure skepticism. King Saul looks at him and basically says, "No way, you can't go fight this Philistine."
Right, because David's only a young man. That's the quote, isn't it? while Goliath's been a warrior forever.
Exactly. Saul sees the obvious mismatch. Size, experience. It looks like a non-starter on paper.
So how does David even counter that? He doesn't exactly have military credentials.
He doesn't. But he offers a different kind of proof. He says, look, when I was watching my father's sheep, I fought off a lion.
And a bear.
A lion and a bear. Okay, that's intense. But it's not a 9-foot giant in armor, is it?
No, but he's showing competence in high-stakes, life-or-death situations, unconventional ones. He's basically saying, this Philistine, he'll be just like them. He even calls him uncircumcised, which is a serious cultural dig, you know. It shows David's confidence is rooted somewhere else. Okay, so he makes his case. And Saul, he seems to buy it. Or at least he lets David try. Because next, Saul tries to gear him up.
Right, with the standard issue stuff, Saul's own tunic, coat of armor, a bronze helmet, the works. He even puts the sword on David.
And David tries to walk around. Must have been awkward.
Totally. And he immediately says, I can't go in these. Why? Because I am not used to them. It's such a clear statement.
He knows what works for him. That's huge self-awareness.
Absolutely. So he ditches the heavy gear. And what does he choose instead? His shepherd's staff, 5 smooth stones he picks from his stream, and his sling. That's it.
Simple tools, familiar tools, which sets up the big confrontation. Goliath sees this kid coming with just a staff.
And he's insulted. He despises him, shouts, am I a dog that you come at me with sticks? He's trying to intimidate him, promising to feed him to the birds. Classic psychological warfare.
But David fires right back, doesn't he? He completely reframes the fight.
He does. He says, you come at me with a sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty. He makes it about faith versus hardware.
And he declares the whole point is so the whole world will know that there's a God in Israel.
Exactly. And that victory doesn't come just from swords and spears. It's a direct challenge to Goliath's entire worldview.
Then the action. It happens really fast. David runs towards the fight.
Yeah, quickly toward the battle line. No hesitation. He uses the sling. One shot.
Hits him right on the forehead. The stone sinks in.
And Goliath goes down, face first in the dirt.
The unbeatable giant taken down by a shepherd boy with a sling.
Oh, wait, there's a final pretty grim detail. David doesn't stop there. He runs over.
Takes Goliath's own sword, which must have been massive.
Huge. Draws it and uses it to cut off Goliath's head.
Wow. Talk about sending a message.
Oh, yeah. The Philistines see that. Their champion is dead. They just turn and run. Complete chaos. The Israelites chase after them.
And even then, after this incredible victory, Saul is still sort of stunned. He asks his commander, Abner, whose son is that young man?
It's amazing, isn't it? Like, he still can't quite process who David is or what just happened. David has to identify himself again.
So when you boil it all down, what's the core takeaway here for us?
I think it's powerfully about knowing your unique strengths. David won because he didn't try to be a traditional warrior. He rejected the tools, Saul's armor that didn't fit him, and used what he knew, combined with, well, incredible faith and nerve.
He played his own game, basically. Okay, so here's something to leave you thinking about. David made that big speech, it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves. But then he finishes Goliath off, using the giant's own sword. Does that final act kind of undercut his earlier point? Or does using the enemy's weapon actually cement the victory and humiliation in a unique way?
That's a great question. Does it complicate the message or amplify it? Something to chew on.
Well, that concludes today's story and Bible breakdown. Just would like to say a special thank you for everybody that stayed to the end of the video. Look forward to seeing y'all the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have yourself a blessed day.